Hello everyone on the internet. I hope you all are having a great day today. The title of this video may make you confused, but once I explain the three reasons why I believe this, you might understand why and possibly agree with me as well. Number 3. Comedy clubs are not doing open mics anymore. Open mics are a great way to work on material and transition from being an amateur professional comedian, or whatever you want to be in the entertainment world. It is also a great way to get noticed as well. When clubs are not having open mics or have open mics at certain parts of the year, you push away potential talent by doing this. It would certainly get bad when you live somewhere that does not have a lot of comedy clubs compared to LA, Chicago, New York, and Boston, and etc. Not everybody can afford to move to these cities or drive an hour or two or whatever to them. So having a comedy club that does open mics and has them readily available in a small town helps bring in potential talent and etc. Now, I'm not saying that all comedy clubs are not doing open mics anymore, but a great portion of them are. Even if you do get to do an open mic at a comedy club that has them readily available, you may have to come across some rules at these clubs, which will lead us to our number 1 and number 2 reasons, but let us slow down and get to number 2 first. Number 2, comedy clubs require amateurs to bring people and advertise your open mic performance. Now, of my 19 years of living, one of the most important life lessons that I have ever learned was that you can't rely on people too much to go with places with you, which is why I don't understand why some of these clubs expect you to bring a certain amount of people or just bring people with you to your open mics all the time. If you don't bring people with you, then the club won't let you perform, or they will do some other kind of punishment to the amateur. Now, the main purpose for an amateur performing at a club is to go to the club, sign up while they're there, or before going to the club, go up on stage when your name is called, make the audience laugh for 5 to 7 minutes, and get off the stage. Simple as that. Bringing people should only be optional. I'm sure these clubs will have people come see the open mic that are not an associate of the amateurs. The second part that goes with this is advertising your open mic performance. Now, why would a simple amateur need to advertise his 5 to 7 minute performance so people can see someone that they probably don't know perform? It doesn't make a lot of sense to do that. This is not some sort of unsigned band or rapper performing for 20 or 30 minutes at a venue. This is a 5 to 7 minute comedy performance by an amateur. Besides, the amateur is not a professional, in which a professional comedian would have to advertise their performance at dozens of clubs across the country to sell tickets. The purpose of starting off as an amateur comedian is to experiment with different types of styles of comedy to try out on audiences and practice your craft. Advertisement for your performances comes when you get a manager and you start touring the country. Both of these rules for number 2 will shove away potential talent due to them being unnecessary and having reliability issues. I am all done with number 2, so let's move on to our number 1 reason of why modern comedy clubs are killing comedy. Now, this is the biggest issue I have out of the 3, and I would like to talk about it. Number 1, comedy clubs are censoring what amateurs are saying and doing well on stage. Some of you knew that I was supposed to do the Funny Stop Comedy Club instead of the Venice Cafe, and don't know why I made this decision to do the open mic at the Venice Cafe instead of the Funny Stop Comedy Club, or we don't know anything about it at all. Well, let me just say that I called up the Funny Stop Comedy Club and I booked myself to do a gig the following Wednesday. I found out through the phone that amateurs are not allowed to be raunchy and vulgar while on stage, and they have to be clean. Through later research of this club, the main owner of this club will allow professionals to be raunchy and vulgar, but won't let amateurs have the same right to do so. Now, I think this is completely hypocritical that this is the way things got at this club. This rule goes against the ethics of creative freedom and freedom of speech. By making this a rule at their club, and many other clubs have this as a rule as well, they are limiting the comedic abilities of many talented, inspiring comedians and are pushing them away as well. They are also doing what I deem to be a threat to creative freedom and freedom of speech, and that is censoring creative expression. Creative expression is something that everybody inspiring to be an entertainer should have, and when you limit creative expression, you limit a lot of great stuff that needs to come out in order to have something fresh, new, and original to be shown to the public that could possibly make society a better place with their entertainment. Now, not all clubs around the country do this, and not all of them do the other bullshit that some of these other clubs are doing as well that I have mentioned on my list in this video, which is a very good thing. There are other issues I have with some of these clubs across the country as well with their rules, but I decided to narrow it down to 3 main problematic ones I have come across. This is probably going to be my last video for 2017, and it was a pretty good year for this small channel of mine. I have seen a growth of views, likes, shares, and subscribers on this channel this year, which is great, and I'm looking forward to keep growing in the future. Thank you to all of my followers on my channel for making this a great year for my channel. Have a Merry Christmas and New Year, and be safe. Goodbye.